Hey YouTube, it's Mark.
And Rocky.
And we are
This Cruise Life.
We're on board the Resilient Lady, where we are going to take you from top to bottom and show you all of the spaces.
Yeah, have you seen these seahorses? How cool is that? Get your photo ops right here. But that's not all. We've got so many more spaces that we want to share with you, so stick around.
Let's go.
So before we jump into today's tour, we have a quick favor for you. First, click that subscribe button, join our cruise community because we are just getting started.
Yes, and if you're looking to get onto Virgin Voyages, go ahead and drop us a note. We can get you booked on an amazing voyage with Virgin today.
Starting at the very top of Resilient Lady, we have deck number 17. And really, all that's there is at the very back of the ship, there's that jogging track to get your fitness on.
Now, it is called the runway because it's Virgin Voyages, and you're going to strut your stuff up there. And that also goes around the funnel where you see the giant LED lit Virgin logo. Such a cool photo op.
Also back there is a beautiful space that we love called the Perch. Now, this is an underutilized space. It's where they have sunrise yoga.
Yeah.
It's where they have the welcome back party. We love this space. During the day, there are also some lounge chairs up there.
Yeah.
That is almost a secret space for you on this ship.
Well, that's it for deck 17. Let's move on down to deck 16.
At the forward of that deck, you are going to find Richard's Rooftop. Now, this is that exclusive area for those that have booked mega rockstar suites and a couple of other folks that may have access to it during the voyage. It's kind of a bland space, but it is a private and separate from everywhere else on the ship, and there is a bar in that space as well.
Yes. Now, as we move outside of Richard's Rooftop on the port side of the ship, that's where we're going to find the Sun Club Cafe. This venue is open for lunch hours during your cruise, and you're going to find a bunch of small bites like bao buns and hummus dips and that sort of thing there.
On the starboard, just opposite of that cafe, is the smoking area on the ship for those that need to do that.
And as we move aft from there, we find some areas that look down onto the main pool. There's a bunch of loungers, as well as some rentable little cabanas that you can get your hands on over your cruise. And then there's these stairwells that go down to deck 15.
Yes. In the very middle, there is the Sun Club Bar. Now, this is an underutilized bar. In fact, we might recommend positioning yourself there for sail away because you can grab the champagne real quick.
Moving aft on deck 16, we find on the port side of the ship the sports area. Now, this is an outdoor recreational spot. There is the training club where you can go inside and participate in some group classes. And if you're on the outside of the ship, that's where you're going to find some boxing rings, and you're going to find some teeter-totters and some other outdoor activities that makes it kind of a fun time.
And then on the starboard side of the ship is where you're going to find day cabanas that you can rent. Those cabanas are along that entire starboard side of the ship. And then connecting the two is actually a sports court where they've got basketball. Oh, look at this class that's going on down there. I recorded this entire class happening in that area. A great space to, do the sports.
And then as we move out from there, we find the athletic club. A lot more outdoor activities that are part of your cruise vacation.
A couple of hot tubs that flank that area, both on port and starboard.
Yes. And then at the very aft of the ship, that is where we find the athletic club bar, which is open for limited hours. So check your times for that. And the net. Now, this is that Instagrammable moment where you can hang out 16 decks above the water and get your picture taken.
It's a catamaran style net, which is fun. The very back of the ship or the aft of the ship is where there are day beds that you can lounge and just take in the sun. And if you look over, see the wake of the ship.
Well, that is it for deck 16. Let's take a look at 15 next. On deck 15 at the front of the ship, this is where we find the Mega Rockstar Suites. Now, these are the supreme of the supremes on board Virgin Voyages ships, and you will get concierge service as well as a wealth of other really cool benefits.
Now, the two at the very front are the mega Rockstar Suites. They take up the entire front of the ship, and they are massive. Look at Rocky in this hammock. Okay, coming out on port side, you have got the Scene, which is Virgin's exclusive event space. You can rent this space out, or you can arrange for it to have this space on your cruise.
On the starboard side of the ship, that's where we're going to find the tune-up, and that's where you're going to find your manis and petties. So if you're needing that little salon experience.
Both of those venues surround the main pool, the aquatic pool, and there's tons of loungers and daybeds in that space as well.
And of course, there is a bar that services the pool, and that is the Aquatic Club Bar. You can get all of your favorite summertime or poolside cocktails there.
Behind that bar is my favorite on board, and that is Gym and Tonic. I just absolutely love that. And that is right in front of the wellness pool, which is that smaller pool that kind of has some bubbles in it. I'm not sure why it's wellness. It's kind of warm water instead of your typical pool water.
Yep.
And then there are 2 more hot tubs that flank that wellness pool.
And then this also rounds out the last of our outdoor activity spaces where you got some pull-up bars, push-up bars, and a wealth of other activities. Coming inside, on the port side of the ship, that's where we find the B complex. And this one is going to be for your burn and bike. So you've got your cardio equipment as well as your stationary bikes inside. And there's also a really nice bike room where you can do your cardio on a bike. It's so much fun.
And on the starboard side, you've got the build and balance part of the B complex. And so this is where you find all of your, weightlifting machines and equipment and all that good stuff, as well as the room where you can actually do various classes. This is where we did the bungee class, where we sprang forward and we learned all sorts of new bungee exercises.
Now, as you start to build up your appetite from working out in these spaces, you're going to head a little bit further aft into the galley. Now, on the port side, this is where we find the Grounds Club 2. This is your secondary coffee location on board Resilient Lady.
Okay, the galley is my favorite place on board, quite honestly. You continue your way in, and there's bagel stations, and there's the burger station, and all well bread, the desserts, and you've got the diner and dash, and you've got tons of seating all around in here as we navigate out.
And on the starboard side, that's where we find Bento Baby. You're going to get your sushi rolls to go there. As we head a little bit aft, you're going to find Let's Talk About It, the taco stand. Behind that is Noodle Around, another one of Mark's favorite. And then at the very after that, we've got the hot off the press, which is your sandwiches. And let's not forget about the little popsicle stand as you make your way on the starboard side.
And the beautiful thing about all of this is there's tons of seating. We never really had a challenge getting seating even during busy times. And there are soda machines and lemonade machines and coffee machines all throughout this space.
And then as we head over to the port side, this is where we find our first of many specialty restaurants on board Resilient Lady, and this one is fun. It's called Gunbae, your Korean barbecue style dining establishment.
I totally forgot that was over there. As you exit the galley or Gunbae and you come out, you exit the aft of the ship, and there are tables there and spaces where you can actually that's where Jeff did some work one day. It's just a beautiful place to take in the wake.
Well, that is it for deck 15. Let's jump down and take a look at 14 next.
We're going to breeze through these next couple of decks. Deck 14, that is where you're going to find the bridge where the captain and first officers steer the ship. And then that rest of that deck is just staterooms.
When we get to deck 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, and 8, I feel like I'm doing a countdown. All of those decks are just staterooms. Forward to aft, there's nothing else there.
Now, you've got your standard balconies. You've got some rock star quarters hidden in there. That's where our interior room was. And so you've got a mix of staterooms in those spaces. Oh, as well as on deck 8, remember, that's where you're going to find your obstructed view sea terraces.
That's it for all of those decks. Let's take a look at deck 7.
At the front of this is the second story of the Red Room. Now, we'll talk more about this convertible theater space when we get down to deck 6, but this is the tier where you can enter and walk down the stairs, or there's also seating up there to take in the shows.
Now, as we move outside of the Red Room on the port side of the ship, that's where we're going to find the Groupie. For all of you karaoke fans out there, this is an amazing spot where you can get your closest friends together and sing along to your favorite tunes.
Yeah, they've got karaoke rooms. Look at these different karaoke rooms that you can just sign out. Scout's Honor, which is awesome. On the starboard side of the ship, that's where we find the Sip Lounge. Now, this is where the Sip Bar is, as well as lounge. You can get all of your different champagnes here and a variety of cocktails as well. This is also where they do tea time. It's a lovely, quiet space. And as you kind of come a little bit at the very front of Sip Lounge,
fun little bandstand there.
Yep.
Now, this is also on the port side of the ship where we're going to find the upper deck of the Manor, which is their nightclub on board the ship. This is another space that we're going to talk a little bit more about when we get to deck 6.
Coming aft on the walkway out of the Sip Lounge, on the starboard side, you've got the future cruise sails. So when you're ready to book your next Virgin voyage, they are waiting there for you.
Right. Get Lost is a fun place. Now, as we go to the center of the ship, that's where you're going to find a spot where they sell those vinyl records. Well, they don't anymore. They used to advertise this as a vinyl record store. That's just the space.
Turns out people don't go on cruises to buy vinyl to ship home. It was, I expect to see this space evolve in time. They do have a live DJ there sometimes spinning, as well as that's where they do the art classes where you paint
Yep.
that art board.
Yep.
And on the port side of the ship, that is where you find the draft house. This is where you've got a bunch of different beers on tap. So we don't spend a ton of time here because we're not big beer drinkers, but they do have some cocktails and shots there as well.
And back over on the starboard side, that's where we find the chart room. Now, the chart room is a nice open spot where you can book your shore things as you are on your voyage. You'll see crew members out there with their laptops helping you get those booked. And this is also the spot for the glam station. So if you're going to Scarlet Night or if you're going to We Fancy, they'll set up some spots where they can do your makeup on board.
All of these areas surround this roundabout. This is a concept that Virgin Voyages introduced where it's a convertible space where they can have dancing and they can have it serves as a stairwell, but it is convertible and you'll see a lot of stuff happening in the center of the ship since they don't really have an atrium.
That's true.
This is their atrium.
Right. Now, as we move further aft from there on the port side of the ship, this is where we're going to find one of my favorite places, and that is Lick Me Till Ice Cream.
Like me till ice cream.
Lick Me Till Ice Cream?
Yes.
That's what it is.
Rotating flavors and just all sorts of varieties of ice cream as well as
Different cones
sorbet.
and sorbets. Yeah, it's
Love it.
a wonderful spot.
My favorite spot, once he's done with his ice cream, I head on aft from there and I go to the pizza place.
That's a wonderful spot. Now, make sure that you check them out daily because they have daily specials of pizza pies available. While you're at the ordering spot, you can also pick up your favorite salads. They've got a bunch of grab-and-go items there, some beers that are canned, as well as some sodas from the fountain.
On the starboard side of the ship, that is where you will find the original Grounds Club. This is the coffee spot on board. Natalia, if you're watching this, hello. Thank you for taking such great care of us.
Now, the Grounds Club also has some nice pastries throughout the day, so if you're feeling a little bit hungry but not too much, you can get a nice pastry there. Now, as we move out from there, we enter, well, a spot that you saw in the opening of the video. This is where those seahorse creatures are located. Cool Instagrammable location
Yes.
on board Resilient Lady.
Absolutely. Coming aft from there is where you've got all sorts of games set up. The gamer, a part of your happenings class, spends a lot of their time there. You've got game tables as well as board games, and this is where they'll do some of the trivias and fun events on the ship.
So this space is called the Social Club, and you're also going to find a really fun soda jerk spot where you can get your sodas made.
Your malts.
Your malts. You can get some adult-style shakes, which is great.
Don't forget the candy stand.
There's a candy stand with included options there.
It's included in your fare.
And you can also pick up some nice snacks. You got your hot dogs and your pretzels and cheese. Really fun spot.
There are booths and more tables inside there. This is also where they do the karaoke
Right.
when you're on board. What's interesting is you walk through this area and then you actually come forward
Yes.
to get to the loose cannon.
That's correct.
Which is, I call this a secret spot because no one knows that this is there because you have to walk aft, then walk in, and then walk forward.
Right.
It's really weird to get to, but this space always is empty,
It is.
and the service is great back there.
Yeah, and they've got a unique menu. You do not want to miss out
Yep.
on that. Now, if you go aft from that space, instead of going forward, that's where you're going to find the arcade. This adult arcade is awesome. All of the games in here are so cool. They're throwback style games, and the best part, they're all included in your cruise fare.
Now, as we exit the social club and continue our journey to the back of the ship, there's some shopping that's there, as well as just some lounge areas that is part of the dock house.
That's correct. So the dock house on the port side of the ship actually has a functioning bar that you can go pony up to and order your drinks. Or you can just sit down at any one of those awesome seats inside the dock house to order your different Mediterranean bites.
And now on starboard, remember, there's also a stage, again, for a live music or a live band that happens over on that side.
Before we go outside, we've got a couple more little spaces to take a look at. One being the entrance to the Wake Steakhouse on board, but that's it, just the entrance, because you go to the podium and then they take you downstairs to the actual restaurant.
Yum. And then on the port side, you've got Juicy, which is the fresh juices you can get. We never did because we were never awake early enough. And then there's another grab-and-go salad and granola and a variety of quick bites.
Now, as we head outside from there, that's where we actually get to the dock formal space. And this is a great space to stargaze at night if you want to look for a nice quiet place on the ship. During the daytime, you also have a nice spot to just relax in these beautiful day beds. There's a full bar back here as well, and the food service continues from the dock house outside to the dock.
We celebrated many an OPA hour back here.
Now, once you're done enjoying the space of the dock, you can finally take a walk around the entire ship on Deck 7. That's right, Deck 7 has a wraparound deck that goes all the way around the front of the ship and all the way back around to the dock. Such a cool spot. Check this out.
Love it.
All right, well, that is Deck 7. Let's move on down to Deck 6 and look at all those venues down there.
At the forward of Deck 6 is the first floor of the Red Room. Now, that is that convertible theater space. We got to see Persephone here. We got to see the Misbehave show here. We got to dance, and we love this space, and we love that it's convertible so that you can take in a variety of different shows in this venue.
Now, as we exit the Red Room on the port side of the ship, we have the Den, which is a flex space, similar to what we saw up on the top deck. It's a spot that you can ask to use for your group as you are sailing away. On the starboard side of the ship, this is where we find the casino on Resilient Lady. Now, at the very front of the casino is where we have a special dedicated smoking casino spot, so you can go in there even when the ship is docked and enjoy your cigarette, should you choose. And then the nice thing is the smoke does not bleed out into the rest of the casino space. Then we have the cashier, followed by all of the gaming tables and slot machines.
Yes, and a bar.
And a bar.
At the very aft of the casino. On the port side of the ship, that is where you find the first story of the Manor, the nightclub on board. Now, this is where they also have another Rose dinner show. This is where they've got Wee Fancy Night, as well as the nightclub events. There's a bar in there. There are multiple, seating spaces in there. It's bathrooms inside there, which is really nice. You don't have to exit the nightclub to use the restroom. They were thinking ahead. Love that touch.
Yes. Now, as we move aft from the casino and the Manor, that is where we find a bunch of stores. The very first one is the Virgin Shop, where we picked up some fun merchandise that's branded to Virgin Voyages, as well as Resilient Lady. Moving just aft of that, we have
The Booty Free store, which has your booze and cigarettes, what a cute name.
That is a cute name. Right next to that is where we find Stubble and Groom. This is your salon for men, where you can get your beard trimmed or get a haircut or hairstyled, getting ready for the rest of your voyage.
And then, again, another cute name shop, the Dry Dock. This is where women can go to have their hairs is blown out.
Now, as we look at the port side of the ship before we head too deep in there, that's where we find On the Rocks, one of those bar flex spaces where you've got a nice bar, as well as some entertainment options. We saw the Charmer there do his show. We also went to a couple of cabaret shows there, and a live band likes to perform there.
Yes. Now, this area all surrounds the bottom of that roundabout that we talked about, that kind of convertible staircase that turns into a dance platform. And so all of those surround that area.
Yes. Now, on the port side of the ship, this is where you enter High Street. It is your one-stop shop for all things fancy on board. You can get your colognes and your designer clothing, your designer bags, watches, jewelry. Oh my.
Also in High Street is your necessity shop. This is where if you need to pick up some medicines or some personal hygiene products, that's there tucked into the all of these luxury designer shops. Interesting.
Yeah.
And also on the starboard side is where you'll find the tattoo parlor on board, which is unique to Virgin Voyages.
Yeah, Squid Ink is really fun. You make your reservations, you can get tattoos there. You can also get piercings done.
So spend $1 million on your Gucci purse and get a tattoo of it on your arm.
Now, shifting back over to the port side, we find one of our specialty restaurants, the Test Kitchen. This is going to be your gastronomic experience on board. Lots of small bites, 5 and 6 dishes per meal. So much fun.
And now when Rocky says specialty dining, they're all specialty dining and they're included in your cruise fare. Don't forget about that.
Yes.
On the starboard side, that is where you find Extra Virgin, which is the Italian place on board. We love it. Try the affogato.
Yes.
Don't miss out.
Affogato is amazing at the end of your meal. Now we don't have any more space here publicly. We have to shift to the very aft of the ship. This is where we get the wake. Now this is an appropriately named venue because it does look at the wake of the ship as you're sailing, but this is the steakhouse on board. It is a wonderful specialty restaurant.
It's open for dinner as well as brunch. Do not miss the brunch. It's amazing.
Yes.
I think that's it.
That is it for Deck 6.
Let's head on down to Deck 5, which at the beginning is just all staterooms in the forward part of the ship.
Right, then we get to the middle of the ship and we find the Redemption Spa. This is your onboard spa services where you can get your back rubs, your spa services like your saunas and your steam rooms.
I mean, look at this space. There are plunge pools in this space. This you can actually just rent a 3 hours time slot in this space, and then some of your routines actually include that 3 hour time slot.
Yes.
Our friends did it on the cruise, and they absolutely loved it.
Yes. Now, as we move a little bit aft from there, on the starboard side of the ship, that's where we find sailor services. This is your onboard customer service area. You'll be able to go walk up to any of those podiums, and that team there will help you with your services.
And I'm just going to stay on starboard since we're there. Right outside of Sailor Services as you head aft is Pink Agave, the Mexican restaurant on board. Now, the entrance to this space is fantastic. And when you get inside, it's dark, it's mysterious. This is the spot where you're going to find your guacamoles and you're going to find that cricket mezcal drink that I did not love. But there's a lot of good food here. Try the enchiladas and tell them Mark sent you.
Oh, yeah. And then on the port side of the ship, that's where Razzle Dazzle is located. Now, Razzle Dazzle is a brunch place as well as dinner. When you go there, oh my gosh, do not miss the lamb shank. It is amazing. But really, Razzle Dazzle's focus is vegan and vegetarian dishes. The menu is beautiful. There's lots of really vegetable forward dishes that you can find there. They have a cheap menu of options available. It's so good. So if you're not looking for just vegetables on your main course, you can absolutely get some other options there.
I love Razzle Dazzle. Please don't miss this on your voyage. Okay, that's it for Deck 5 public spaces.
That is.
And then we head on down to Deck 4.
Deck 4 does not have any cabins or any public spaces for guests, except for the tender lobbies where you can get on and off the ship while in port, and there's also the medical center towards the forward of Deck 4.
Which we hope that while you'll visit the tender embarkation lobbies, you'll never have to visit the medical center on board.
Right. Well, that's a wrap of Resilient Lady. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey from Deck 17 all the way down to Deck 4. Have you sailed on any of the other Virgin Voyages Lady ships? Let us know in the comments below what you loved about your time on board those ships. Well, if you haven't done it already, please give this video a thumbs up.
And of course, hit that subscribe button because we are just getting started.
And don't forget to smash that notification bell so that you're aware of all of the other awesome content that we have coming to the channel.
Hey, until next time, we'll see you on the sea.